Hi there, this is Jim the Keys Bartender. We're coming down. We're in Key West for our first Key West show. I'm here with Jim Martin at Key West Smugglers Whiskey Tasting Room. Say hi, Jim.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're here with the bartender here, Will. Say hi, Will. Here, I'm going to hold it.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Okay. A couple weeks ago, we're going to go through a little background before we try. You know, I'm so distracted right now because I'm looking at your vodka.
Nice.
You know, it might as well be in a strip club and there's a girl dancing, a Venezuelan girl.
Exactly.
This is what I have in my eyes. And she's dancing there and I'll be distracted and stuff like that.
I guess since it's vodka, she'd be Polish or Russian.
Oh, Polish or Russian girl and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm married to my wife's a
Nice.
Polish girl. So we got together and we started talking and I want to rehash that a little. It was funny. I put out some feelers to Key West, and I got contacted from one of the bars here. And you have to worry about this stuff because this is just all the ambience and stuff like that. Anything that goes on out here is not too bad. It's
No
not
worries.
that
Yeah,
loud.
we're right on the street.
Yeah, it's great to have. We're right on the street. We're right off Duval, about a block and a half. And this is the tasting room for Key West Smuggler Company. And Jim and I got together when I put out those feelers, and you contacted me, and I called back. I was very excited about it to understand that they had a bourbon whiskey down here,
Right.
which I'm a bourbon guy. Did you know I was a bourbon guy?
I didn't.
I mean, I'm a bourbon guy.
That's amazing.
I'm the bourbon guy.
Which
That's it.
I'm sure you're just as surprised as a lot of people would be, is that there would be a bourbon whiskey in the tropical climate.
I'm not surprised by anything. I did my research on it, and the way bourbon came about, it's a southern liqueur, and some people, if I looked in the history of it,
Right.
and some of it was kind of like an alternative to cognac. Some people say, sour mash and corn and all that stuff. So I understand that bourbon could be made other places. I'm not what would you call that? That kind of person that is always
Snob about it.
a snob about it. It's my snobbish is that it's good.
Right.
And we had a wonderful discussion. And I'm going to go over history here, and I want to talk about the thing that surprised me most first. After we spoke, and we're going to talk about the things we spoke about your history and the history of your family and how you got into it. But I went immediately to Tradewinds Plaza in Key Largo to the liquor store there that carries Key West Smuggler bourbon
Winds
whiskey.
Liquor?
Yeah, Tradewinds Liquor. And I got a bottle and I brought it home. And I was going, oh my God. It's like, okay, this is a metaphor. It's like seeing a beautiful woman and you're going out on a date and you don't want her to be a bitch.
Right.
Right? I didn't want to, and I go like this and, oh my God, listeners, I drink my bourbon neat. This is a reminder, neat is room temperature, straight up, no ice, no mixer. And it is delicious. It is smooth. The undertones and overtones, whatever you want to call it, I'm not a snob, is very smooth. It's not smooth enough that we call it like a liqueur. It's still a bourbon. It still has the bite, but it doesn't have a severe bite. And I can handle bite. It didn't even have that. And I was just like, wow, this is really good. I felt a really high quality bourbon. I was really happy and I was really excited. It's like I'm saying, oh, now I can bring this girl home to meet my mom and dad.
Right. She's not a bitch.
She's not a bitch. She's a nice girl. She's not a slut. So let's get a history of you. Now, what gave you the idea? Are you a Key West guy?
Yeah, well, I'm coming down here for 19 years. And I'll tell you the thing.
Let me try. Can we try? You know what?
Yeah.
The best way to talk about it is probably with a little.
Talk about it right there.
Yeah, with a little sip of that.
Vodka sitting in front of you.
Yeah. Oh man, that is beautiful color too.
So
it has
while you're drinking that, I'll give you a little background of I won't go into the family history yet, but I'll start as what my vision was for it.
Yes.
I have a 136-year heritage of making whiskey in my family in Kentucky, and I've been coming down to Key West for 19 years since 2000. So I've been coming down here for years, and I wanted to bring my heritage, bourbon whiskey, to the southernmost city in the United States. But talk a little bit about how bourbon is made. This is not the climate to make bourbon in. You need cold winters and hot summers, because that's what opens the wood up and draws the whiskey in and out of the barrel. And that's where.
But luckily, with climate control,
Well, you don't see that when the barrels are in a rick house, it's open to the elements. You don't climate control alcohol aging.
Okay.
So that's why they do rums down here, because rums don't require as intensified aging.
So how do you get around that?
Well, it's because rum doesn't need it. That's why.
No, I meant for bourbon.
Oh, what do you mean? Well, that's why you make it in Kentucky. So the bourbon's made in Kentucky. But I wanted to bring it to Key West as far as like from a drinkability standpoint. But I didn't want to bring a heavy Basil Hayden Four Roses type of a whiskey down here because no one's going to drink it in the summertime. And everybody down here, I compete with rum distilleries. People want to have an umbrella in their drink. They want a tropical drink, those kind of things. So when I was looking at the business model, I knew that I had to make a lighter, sweeter, fruitier bourbon. And one of the main things about it, it needed to be able to mix into fruit drinks.
Yes.
Which is you would never take a Four Roses and dump pineapple juice in it. No. I think that would probably that's against the state law or something.
Sacrilege.
I found this. It took me 7 years, and I ran across this aging process called TerraPure, and it's by the TerraSentia Corporation. So there's an inventor. His name is O.Z. Tyler, and he invented indoor-outdoor carpeting, the washable wallpaper, and that green carpeting, and the lining that goes.
AstroTurf,
Yes. Well, it's the green indoor-outdoor carpeting you could go buy anywhere, and the lining that goes into a soda can that allows you to put soda in aluminum without oxidizing the aluminum. You can't put soda directly into an aluminum can. So he drank 12-year-old Scotch, and as an inventor, he kept thinking there's got to be a better way to age alcohol than waiting, right? So the last thing he invented before
oxidation is a chemical process. So you could, what do you call that? A catalyst? Something that would speed things up.
Right.
And speed that up so you don't need time to do
if you
that.
think about the time, it's the barometric pressure change, and it's the seasonal change. And that's why the Midwest is one of the reasons the Midwest is the best place, because we have the largest degree of temperature shift in the seasons from winter to summer.
Okay.
So that's what opens the wood up and closes the wood, effectively drawing the whiskey in and pushing the whiskey out. It's a mechanical process.
Through that, through the
temperature, barometric.
Through those, but through those charcoal,
the inside
kegs.
of the barrel, the charcoal barrel. So it's
kind of a filtration system, right?
It's even, if you think about it this way, you can mechanically do it. So if you just took a whiskey barrel and shook it for a year, put it on some sort of platform, able to shake it, it has virtually the same effect. I don't know if you've heard of Jefferson's Ocean whiskey.
I heard of Jefferson's. I don't know Jefferson's
Ocean.
Jefferson's Ocean.
That's actually the name of it. So people think because it's on a cargo ship, so they put whiskey barrels on a cargo ship, and people think it's the oceanic pressures or whatever, but it actually is not. It has nothing to do with
the motion of the ocean.
The motion of the ocean,
just like sex.
It's basically
it wasn't the size of the ship; it's the motion of the ocean.
The motion of the ocean,
right? So, well, you know what I'm talking about.
They put these whiskey barrels on a cargo ship that does transatlantic voyages.
Yeah.
So it's just the raking, the shaking and the rocking and all that. It has nothing to do with the temperature or anything else. It's literally a mechanical process. So anyway, the TerraPure process uses low-frequency acoustic energy or subwoofer frequencies to simulate the changing of the seasons, forcing the whiskey in and out of barrel staves.
You use a sound, acoustic sound.
It's a patented process.
Wow.
So they own the process, and I license the process from them, and it's made in my hometown in Owensboro, Kentucky.
It's kind of like an ambient noise or something like that, or is it
low-frequency subwoofer?
Low-frequency.
Ooch, ooch, ooch. It's the...
Oh, like a nightclub.
Yes, like a nightclub.
Oh, God. We're like a rave
Correct.
thing. Yeah. Okay.
But it's low frequency. So and it is a patented process. So obviously, I licensed the process. So I aged the whiskey in a barrel.
So this is your process?
No, I license the process.
Okay. You licensed it.
Yes.
Okay, you licensed it.
So
you paid
can't
for
buy
it.
It doesn't. They own it.
Okay.
So, I aged the whiskey in a barrel for 1 year and 1 day to make it a bourbon. And then we dump it into the TerraPure process, and then it runs in the TerraPure process.
1 hour and 1 day. You have to have it in one.
It's 1 day.
One year and 1 day.
Right. That's
is a requirement.
It's supposed to be 1 year, but for tax reasons in Kentucky, 1 year and 1 day is what everybody ages. So then you take it and dump it into the TerraPure process, and it runs for 10 hours, and it ages at an equivalent of 3 more years in 10 hours.
Wow.
So I get a 4-year equivalently aged whiskey in 1 year and 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine you could do that with girls.
Process. And also,
you find a 17-year-old girl and you can just age her up to 25 and stuff like that.
Be like, step into this booth.
Well, you even hear this? No.
Step into this booth.
We'll
age you 3 more years.
Age someone. without going through all that horrible thing.
So one of the things also too that it does is that because it doesn't sit in a barrel for the 4 years,
yes,
it reduces the congeners, which are what cause hangovers, by 70%.
Congeners. Now this is something new. I don't. Do you know what? I admit when I don't know what is a congener?
Impurities.
Impurities, and that's the thing that gets into
gives you a hangover. So, and you have to. People don't realize that if you drink pure grain alcohol, or you drank a moonshine, for example, right, which is what my family made was moonshine. The purer grain the alcohol is, the less of a hangover you're going to have, unless you just overconsume the ethanol.
Okay, you say the congeners cause it, but what process causes? Is it a constriction of your blood vessels in your brain? Is it dehydration?
They're literally poisons.
Poisons.
So when you through the distillation process, there's what's coming off the still. There's what's called the head, the body, and the tails. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if you're drinking beer, wine, whiskey, Irish whiskey. Doesn't matter what kind of drink you drink. It's the ethanol that gets you drunk.
Okay.
So it doesn't. You're just drinking, and then the rest of it's flavoring. So it's like, how do you like your ethanol flavored?
Yes.
Right. So if you think of it that way, then everything else is an impurity.
Everything added, all the taste, all the essences, and everything in there.
So when you distill alcohol, what comes off of it first, they're all alcohols, but there's like 350 different kinds of alcohols that come off of a still. The heads that come off first are the poisonous. They're isopropyl alcohols and those kind of things. And those are pulled off and then sold to industry. So all the isopropyl rubbing alcohol that you have in your cabinet come from a distillation process. It's a byproduct of making liquor.
Oh, so you know what? I know you may be it may be a misnomer when you hear that I'm calling myself the Keys Bartender. That I know a lot about that. I know how to bartend.
Yeah,
I know how to talk to people.
Than distilling.
Distilling. Yeah, I do not. I realize I do not. I realize I do not know a lot.
Yeah.
About that.
It's a very scientific process.
So okay, we're into that process. We kind of know how you do that and how you introduce it. Like so, you did all this. Now you brought it to here.
Yeah, just let me tell you how I got it to here. So using the TerraPure process, as you were saying, this doesn't have that taste you were expecting. Yeah. It's lighter, it's fruitier actually, has a little butterscotch at the end of it. And so you can take my whiskey and substitute it in any rum concoction. So you could take a rum runner, a mind eraser, any kind of rum drink that you would drink with an umbrella in it down in Key West, and directly substitute my whiskey.
So it actually tastes better than any rum I've ever tasted.
Exactly. So the business model for this and the beauty of it is that people come down here and they go down and they, hey, give me a rum runner. Well, they don't realize that they're not getting Papa's Pilar rum in a rum runner they order from the bar. They're going to get the well crap. That's all. It's just trash, and that they're going to have bad hangovers. And it's just a crappy drink. Well, my product cost puts it right in a spot where most bars around town, you could say, give me a rum runner, but substitute the smuggler's whiskey instead of the rum, and it's either the same price or $1 markup. But you're drinking a high-quality whiskey that won't give you a hangover, and then you're drinking. You could drink all night and not have to worry about the next morning.
I'm going to venture a guess because I've always liked old fashions. That I would put even less sugar in it,
right?
And that would be like such an excellent. Like I said, I only drink it neat. But if you drink old fashions, Key West Smugglers would be great in an old fashioned, right. Or a Manhattan,
right?
And would I say always with a Manhattan and martini, the worst part of a martini is the vermouth,
right? When
you come in there, so you brought it here. So that was back in.
So this was right after Irma.
Right after Irma?
Yeah. It was supposed to launch before Irma, but Irma happened and delayed the launch. There was nobody in Key West. There was nobody in the Keys.
Yes.
So we had no clients.
Yes.
So that was the issue with that. So technically, it was around middle December. Right after Irma.
Well, we're going to work somewhat backwards because I want to find out the history of your family too. So we have some time. We're going to finish up the first half of the show talking about what is around us here and what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to take some pictures and we're going to take it because what I see is a vintage type of bar, kind of like I would imagine. I'm a student of history. What I would see in the late 1800s, early 1900s in Kentucky. something like that with the Key West feel, being with the wide open doors here and seeing this here. It's a beautiful bar in here.
And the goal was to make it, we're the Smuggler Company, right? So we want to look like it was just stuff cobbled together from an old warehouse.
Yeah. And then let me throw it in here so we can do it the first time. This is at 627 Eaton Street in Key West. And it's just blocks off Duval.
2 blocks.
Blocks. Oh, 2 blocks. Yeah.
2 blocks from Duval Street on Eaton.
Yeah, less than 2 blocks. Less than 2 blocks because that's the corner up there. So I wouldn't even say. It's a stumbling distance for you.
Exactly.
And you come here and
very stumbling.
this is a tasting room, but you also have, you got all your shots and all your stuff here. You got your beautiful gear here. If you like bourbon, you got to come down here and try it out.
And the tastings are free.
The tastings are free.
We don't sell them here because of our licensing. You only come here and sample the product for free, and then you go buy it.
Folks, how many times do you ever hear this when you come into a tourist area that something is free? True. And then there is we did do a show about the guys with the soaps on Duval Street. You heard about the soap guys?
No, I hadn't heard about that.
There is excellent blues music here. I was just informed by our bartender. The best blues in town. What nights are your blues in?
But no, that's not live blues. Don't want to get confuse anyone.
They go around. They go together because people associate now the history of it. And we got a couple minutes before we take our the halfway break. There was it seems to be muddled the history of bourbon, where it came from, and some people associate with the Bourbon Dynasty. You don't have to worry about that with the phone. Like, there could be a ambulance going by; it won't affect you. But the Bourbon Dynasty in France, but there's some French influence. The French they did occupy the middle part of the continent until the Louisiana Purchase, and then there was a lot of Scotch Irish that came in here, and they said it was a Scotch influence because they bring Scotch, and then they used the sour mash, and there's there's no settled history for bourbon. But what you do have is a level of quality, and people know it. There's a famous Supreme Court justice that said something about, and I'm not making it dirty for a purpose, but porn. He was asked to define porn. He says, I can't define porn, but you show me, and I can tell you what it is. I can see what it is, and I'll tell you what bourbon. There are basic benchmarks, which you have the corn mash and the charcoal cask and all that stuff. But when you taste it, if you're a bourbon drinker, you know what's a bourbon and what it ain't. Right. And Key West Smuggler is a bourbon of a finest quality, and then you can find it here in the Keys. When you're down here, it's an excellent time to come in the middle of the day. You come here. It starts, what are the hours
3
here?
3 o'clock, 3 to 9 p.m., Thursday through Sunday. Of course, now we're coming into season, so it'll be every day except Monday, 3 to 9.
When do you start doing that?
There'll be a second week of October, so starting on
second week in October, they're going to do
right before Fantasy Fest.
Right before. You got to make your way up here. It's right there. You might as well come and try it. This is a great thing to bring back from Key West if you need to. And then you can share it with your friends, and then maybe you can share it with actually your local liquor stores.
Yes.
Yes, because you are nationally distributed now,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
27 states now.
27 states?
Yep.
I've been in 27 states, but it's not physically geography. 27 states. It's states of inebriation and being high. So right now we're going to take a brief break. I'm going to thank Jim and Will. We're going to take a brief break, and we're going to come right back. We're in the second half of the show, and then we're going to go over. We got to talk about your family.
Yes.
And talk about you personally.
And limestone water.
Limestone water.
Exactly.
Oh, does that go into the process too?
Yeah, that's what in Kentucky.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, for sure.
While we're here, we can actually go over a little. So we don't forget. Next month, is it? You have a big, or is it next week? You're doing a big unveiling of another product.
Yes, so it's going to be in November. We're unveiling the vodka product, which also uses the TerraPure process to clean it up. It's so smooth, it tastes like water. It can get you in trouble.
Okay, well, you know what? We always tell people to be responsible drinking, but I'm the Keys bartender. I was in.
You're not driving?
I'm not driving. Matter of fact, when I came down here, Jim kindly set me up with a local innkeeper down here, and I am
Southwinds
taxiing.
Hotel?
Yes, Southwinds Hotel, and I'm with a local taxi company. But I'm gonna take a sip of this right now. Let's see.
Now, are you a vodka guy?
I am involved with a woman who's Polish, and
So you know what
they are.
You know what Polish tastes like, then.
It's vodka. And I went to a wedding this summer. The wedding.
Poland?
Yeah. My wife's nephew's wedding. It started at 3:30 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. Well, actually, it ended for me at 6 a.m.
For you.
when I came out of there, and it was. I mean, I drank vodka. I drank a little of their beer, but I mainly drank vodka, and most of it was the way.
It's a long time to drink vodka.
It is a long time to drink vodka, and luckily, I guess I was surprised my resilience.
This is a Polish potato vodka.
Whoa. Holy shit. I just took a sip of it, folks. I'm sorry there wasn't a thing. This is
Dangerous.
I could taste that it's alcohol. There's no burn.
And you're drinking it hot and straight.
Hot and straight. And neat vodka. I mean, obviously I can drink some pretty harsh alcohol.
That is literally out of the test batch. So this is the only quantity we have of it right now until it comes out in November.
Oh my gosh, that is the delicious vodka. That is a delicious vodka. I think it's going to be a big hit. We're going to be back in a couple minutes.
If you want to get your information about the Florida Keys straight from the locals who live here and the ones who love it here, we've got you covered. Visit 43keys.com as your source for everything Florida Keys. Sign up for our newsletter and you'll always be up to date on all the Keysy stuff that's going on down here. Go to 43keys.com. That's the number 4, the number 3, keys.com, and sign up today.
Hi there, this is Jim the Keys Bartender. We're back. I'm back here with Jim Martin from Key West Smuggler Bourbon Whiskey Company here. Or company. Do you like that? I saw the two things. I see Key West Smuggler Bourbon Whiskey and Key West Bourbon Whiskey, Key West Smuggler Company.
It's the Key West Smuggler Company.
And then so it's Key West Smuggler Company and bourbon
vodka,
whiskey.
gin. Eventually, we're gonna have a gin, a rum. You know, the whole nine.
Good luck with me. I'm
line.
dyslexic, man.
Yeah,
I'm ass backwards. So before we left, one thing I want to mention because your bartender mentioned this about the feel, and I didn't see the pirate over here in the corner hanging.
Missed an entire pirate.
I missed that pirate hanging, a life-size pirate, a 6'2" pirate on a rope. Hanging from the corner here, the buoy balls and things that definitely give it more of a Key West feel. But there's a lot of Texas. He mentioned there was Texas, and then we got the Kentucky thing. And the bar itself is from
a swim platform that came off in Irma from a boat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
An old boat, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try some of this again. So right before we left, you mentioned to me Keystone.
Limestone water.
Limestone.
Yeah, so
key lime.
real,
I'm in freaking.
So real authentic bourbon.
Got to remember,
whiskey,
I'm drinking your bourbon.
Real authentic Kentucky bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
The Commonwealth of Kentucky sits on a limestone outcropping, a huge 3.5 mile thick slab of limestone. So limestone naturally filters out calcium and magnesium and iron.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it perfect for using to make alcohol. So just the water right out of the ground is already naturally filtered, and it removes those elements. So if you distill alcohol with water that has iron in it, it will turn black when you age it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can't have iron in water, and so but now they're coming out with black whiskeys and things like that. It's because they're using.
I guess
water.
that works. That's really good with rum too. If you got a dark rum,
yeah, water that has iron in it.
Is that dark rum too? Is that why?
No. Dark rum is just the how that's the aged.
Oh, okay.
Either aged or unaged. and how long they age it, and if they use molasses or not. There's a bunch of different things that go into that. But no, it's the water. Is naturally suited for making whiskey right out of the ground. So you don't have to do anything to it. So all the moonshiners up in the hills, all the water is coming out of the ground in the streams and all that is you don't have to do anything to it. You make whiskey right out of it.
Wow. Hey, you ever seen the movie Deliverance?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
You didn't have any relatives like that, did you?
Well, probably so. Yeah.
Okay. No. I'm not saying that because the last episode I did one of the lines was, "Boy, you got a pretty mouth." You were telling me the history of your family. You were doing it for how many years?
136 years.
136 years.
1883. It goes back farther than that, but they perfected the recipe for the moonshine in 1883, and that was the same recipe that we use today in the illegal aspects of it. So I want to clarify something. My family's made illegal whiskey.
Yeah.
Until I'm the first one in our family to make it legally.
Well, I mean, nothing to be embarrassed about it because the Kennedy family was actually involved in a bootlegging years ago too, and they're considered that way. So I mean, I don't view that as something like that. The weird thing about it is with the obviously when we had prohibition and things like that, bourbon had to go through. At the time, it was 1919, right after World War I, and women got the right to vote, and the first thing they did was like,
get rid of booze.
Fuck you guys. Well, you know what? They weren't allowed to go to bars.
Right.
They weren't allowed to bars. They weren't allowed to go to bars.
Go to bars. They wouldn't
let them. If you let them go to bars, if you let them drink a little, guys, it wouldn't have been bourbon. I mean, now women go.
Boring the bars would have been without the girls.
Well, they had certain girls there. They had saloon girls there. They did. They had saloon girls there, but guys didn't want their wives and their girlfriends there.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess
no way to get busted if they can't get in.
Technology ruined that, right? Cell phones and stuff like that. Yeah. There's no way. Everything is recorded now. So let's hear about your family. So you're from Kentucky. Your family's from Kentucky.
Born and raised there. We're all from
what part of Kentucky?
We're originally from Sussex, England. So we came from Sussex, England, through New York City.
Martin's kind of Scotch-Irish, right?
Yeah, I haven't really searched it back that far, but I know we're directly descended from Sussex, England. 5 generations ago, we came through New York City. My great-great-great-great-grandfather at the time was traveling through Kentucky and fell in love with a Kentucky lady. And that's what started the whole thing. And she was already making moonshine that was handed down to her. Yeah. So he stayed in Kentucky, and then we're now 4 generations of Kentuckians. We're all Kentucky colonels. Interesting fact, in 1881, my grandfather was commissioned a Kentucky colonel by John Y. Brown, who was the governor of Kentucky at the time, which is, for those who don't know, is the highest honor that the governor of Kentucky can bestow upon anyone. And back in the day...
It's like a knighthood.
Back in the day, that was the actual guard, that was the private guard of the governor.
Yeah.
So you could call up when the militia was called in or whatever, where the Kentucky colonels would go guard the governor himself. That was the private guard, which now is more of an honorary position as opposed to...
Which they probably had to do when Prohibition passed. They had to guard the governor because everyone got pissed off.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders, was never in the military. He's a Kentucky colonel.
Oh.
You say.
Well, he makes delicious chicken, too.
So anyway, the caveat on that is that my dad and my grandfather were commissioned Kentucky colonels in 1977 by John Y. Brown, Jr., who was the governor of the Kentucky at the time.
Oh, okay.
And then in 1992, I was commissioned a Kentucky colonel by Brereton Jones, who was the governor at the time. So.
Well,
the reason my forefathers did that was because we were in an illegal business. He wanted to justify our existence and say, because when you're a Kentucky colonel, you can legally use the word honorable in front of your name. So he called himself the honorable, all the time. So he was like, how can I be doing anything illegal if I'm actually have the highest honor that you can get in the entire state? And I'm honorable.
Every monarch in Europe and family in the United States has that thing going for them, where they go and say, it's no dishonor. You were just earning a living. Right. And you're doing what you love. And obviously you perfected it with, and I'm looking at it right here with this beautiful thing. And I noticed the writing on the back. I want you to read that too off the back.
So this, and the saying, of course, it says one human family on the back, which is the motto of Key West. That's the official motto of Key West. J.T. Thompson came up with that in 1982. and the city of Key West adopted it. So I found this saying that's written on there is actually from a pirate tombstone from 1742 in Sussex, England. So I thought it was just ironic, and it fits the one human family. So it says, whatever your race is, or your color or creed, whatever your faith is, it's the same color we bleed. So may grace be your harbor and pride your true north. Let faith be your anchor and make love your home port.
One human family.
Right.
What a beautiful sentiment, and right there on a bottle of bourbon. So
Key West.
In Key West, yes. And I don't think, when you they always think about badasses and stuff like that. You could be a badass and still be accepting of other people. That is a beautiful saying right here.
And that's called the Pirate's Prayer.
That's a pirate's prayer. Okay, well, there's a lot of things like that. You got to watch out. The pirate's prayer. There's the Roman helmet. It's all these nicknames for things like that. So I want to go over some the people that stop here. What have you been seeing? People that have been drinking bourbon.
Of course, we have over 50,000 followers on Facebook. 15,
I saw that, 55,000.
Instagram, 55,000, pushing 60.
Maybe even more.
So we've got, and all of those are organic. We've never bought a single follower or any of those kind of things. These are real people that follow us from day one, and we get people that will.
You don't
seek
have
us
Pradeep from India following you and all that.
All over the world. We get people. They hit us up and they're like, "We're coming. Where's your tasting room? We're coming down there." So we get people like those are the ones that come in that they already know what it is. They want to sample it. They love it. It's like they like to hang out here. And then you get obviously the drunk people staggering around off of Duval Street that had no idea there was a whiskey tasting room here, but what the hell, free whiskey,
I know the shame about that is they may have it in the back of their mind. They won't remember that. Right. This is one of these things. This should be the first stop you make if you're going to try, if you're going to be tasting after you've had too much it's fun. But it doesn't really expand your horizons because you don't even remember what you did then.
Well, unless you look on Instagram or Facebook and see your picture
you're
out
right.
there and you're like, obviously I was at the whiskey tasting.
Yeah. I mean, if you're one of those people that go out and post every time you go out.
We post. So the people come in and take pictures and we post them on our social media.
Oh, okay.
So we've got tons and tons of photos of people doing that.
What were you going to say, Will?
Yep.
I was just going to say, through my personal experience, we've got a lot of cool people coming from all different walks of life. And when they come in, they are... I've watched people from Kentucky come in and just watching different people sample bourbon and learning the actual culture of how they sample the bourbon, and just experiencing the different walks of life that come in has been a cool experience. And learning from the people who live in the bourbon culture, how deep and how the roots are in Kentucky with bourbon.
Okay. It's kind of pretty amazing when you get someone from Kentucky come in and
we get tons of
like this. It's like if someone from Japan came in and they were eating sushi at your place in Key West. I mean, we've had I used to work at a restaurant where we had Japanese people come in and eat sushi there because it's our local fish. You know what I mean? Right. So,
and luckily, when the bourbon people come in, I have 136 years of heritage in Kentucky, so it's really kind of hard to say anything about that.
There's great bourbon made in Kentucky, but there's also less than great bourbon made in Kentucky. I imagine there's good
that's what
bourbon made.
That's what anything. Just because you make alcohol doesn't mean you know what you're
doing. I think the one rule for bourbon is that it has to be made in the United States.
In the United States. It cannot be made outside.
So
originally it was...
I don't mean to be sacrilegious. I bet they can make it. I bet you can make a decent one
originally,
outside.
The specification required it to be made in Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Yeah, here they come. These
all right,
people.
We're going to rolling in.
Yep. Oh, okay. Are you here to taste some bourbon? You are not? How about you?
Don't pass it up.
Where are you folks from?
Warner Robins, Georgia.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
Oh, the Kentucky.
It's bottled in Louisville, made in Greensboro.
Yep. Okay. They're from Louisville and Georgia. Where in Georgia? Warner Robins. Okay. Here we go. They're going to be trying it. I think you're going to be surprised. You're going to be very surprised.
All right. This is an 1883 moonshine recipe. It was his great-grandfather's gentleman here doing the podcast.
Yep.
It was his grandfather's moonshine.
Not mine. This gentleman.
Okay.
I'm not a gentleman.
We're both Jim.
We're both Jim. He's a gentleman. Hey, you know what? Can I have a little taste of that?
I got Jim.
Yeah,
So we are bottled in Louisville, you say?
yeah.
Made in Owensboro, Kentucky.
I noticed you said Louisville. People from outside would say Louisville, and yours is the right way to say it.
There's actually 6 different enunciations.
No, but say it the right way. Louisville. Okay, got it. Okay, I want to say
Let's try it again.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Louisville. Louisville.
I have to Google the T-shirt that has the 6 different enunciations on it.
Yeah. Hey, I think out of respect, you should try to pronounce it the way the people from that place do.
Louisville.
What do you think? Is that right?
Louisville, Louisville.
Louisville. Well, I'm from Philadelphia. You said it right. You said it.
Philly.
You said it right. No, you know what? I can't even correct you. You just said it correctly.
I know, it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah.
All right.
So, there we go. There's people experiencing it. Let's hear it. Let's see it the first time. What do you think? Come on, man. This is one to be drank neat. Did you try it? Do you like rum? What do you drink?
What is that? A Bloody Mary. You like
Oh,
vodka?
she drinks vodka. What do you want?
Huh? She likes the vodka.
She likes the vodka. What do you think?
What? Well, this is all we have.
Oh, that's all you have? Okay, go on. My
for
God.
months.
That's like the serum. Oh, you gave me some of that stuff?
Yeah. That is.
Okay, I'm pleased. That is delicious vodka. When they get that vodka, when they release this vodka, you got to try Key West Smuggler Company vodka.
Yes.
It is
going to be called
the smoothest vodka I ever had.
And it's going to be the Wrecker's Blacklist vodka.
You're not going to say Key West?
This is the Key West Smuggler Company.
Oh, so
Wrecker's Blacklist.
Wrecker's
vodka.
Black. Okay. Get it?
Yeah. So Key West was all about wrecking back in the day, and so we have a.
Where you put up those fake lighthouses and shit like that?
No. Wreckers, ships that run aground.
Well, that's what I mean. They run aground because they put up the fake fucking lighthouses and draw them in.
Around because it's shallow, and there was no navigation.
Yeah, I know, but they moved the navigational beacons. Did you ever see the shipping news?
No, I haven't seen that.
The shipping news. Okay. What happened? You got these guys. They're not exactly pirates.
Yeah.
They're wreckers.
Right.
And what they do is they move the navigational beacons around, so they would bring them in closer in the shore.
Yeah.
And they'd say, well, the beacon's supposed to be here, and they dim the one. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Perfect. Did you get a picture?
No, I didn't get a picture. You sent it. You already get one? Please, yeah.
What do you guys think?
Right around the corner, literally. Like,
right there.
Oh,
okay, guys, ready? One more time.
what do you think, though, I'm at?
Here we go.
Everybody in?
Yeah.
Ready?
It's,
1, 2, 3. There it is.
Perfect.
it's like when someone makes a cheesesteak down here, and they're
like,
someone's
man.
from Philadelphia, and they go, "This is pretty good. It's pretty good."
I think that's the thing. We have lobster rolls here from Boston.
Yes.
Right. And we have Philly cheesesteaks here from Philly. We've got New York pizza from New York. So that's one.
Well,
good thing about
Angelina's. I always like the pizza.
and Big John's. He's from New York.
Big John's. Oh, where's Big John's?
It's out on Roosevelt.
Oh,
they
geez,
deliver.
I've never been there. I used to ride my bike down here, but I always I actually did a little tipsy-turvy thing on the bike right there.
Exactly.
Going for Angelina's because they had the big New York-style pizza. They had that fucking
Amazing.
20-inch, whatever, size pizza, the big slice, where if you have like 3 slices, that's like equal to a large pizza someplace else.
You get a T-shirt or something if you eat 3 slices?
No, they don't give you. They don't give you a T-shirt. Not like you give me a T-shirt, and I drank some. But you know what? I'm going to drink the rest of this, and that's it. So we're at. What is your hopes from now? You're doing bourbon. In November. You're going to be introducing the vodka. What are we going to be doing?
And then after that, we've got a straight vodka that's coming out in January. That will be the first straight vodka that has the Terra Pure finishing on it. And then
I'd explain what that is.
It's 2-year aged. So it's a 2-year aged bourbon whiskey. That's what qualifies it to be a straight bourbon. And then we're going to use the Terra Pure process for the finishing on it.
Okay.
So then we'll have a 6-year equivalently aged whiskey, but in 2 years.
That'd be great. I'll tell you.
So sorry about that. And then I was telling you about the wreckers aspect of it. So there's wrecking and fishing was how people in Key West made money in the 1700s and 1800s. So you had to be licensed to be a wrecker. So
There was a movie out in the 30s called Reap the Wild, 30s and 40s called Reap the Wild Wind. It was Ray Milland and John Wayne. It took place. It was placed in Key West. Mm-hmm. And John Wayne was a captain. Ray Milland was like a lawyer and stuff. It was the 1800s.
Yeah.
And it's all about wreckers.
Right.
About recovering these ships.
Yep.
And it was about how some of these people wrecked the ships on purpose and were recover the cargo.
Right.
And stuff like that.
So the blacklist is a list of the people who were not allowed to have a wrecker's license. They were blacklisted from having a wrecker's license.
Why do you have a blacklist?
This was the bad boys of the bad boys because they so the number one name on the list is Temple Pent, who comes from a very prominent family here in Key West, and he was blacklisted for collusion. So like one guy on there had knocked the mast off of another ship. So they're racing out there. That's why they call it wreckers races, because these guys would literally race like NASCAR teams out to the wreck, because whoever got there first owned the wreck. So they would try to sabotage each other on their way out. So if you sabotage somebody or colluded with somebody, said, hey, you and I are going to get together and we're going to block these other guys from getting out there, kind of thing,
I didn't know
you
that.
could lose your license. So it's a one-page
the ultimate cock blocking.
Handwritten document.
Ultimate cock blocking when you come into something like that. There's where explicit show. I can say that.
The records blacklist.
Blacklist. Okay, guy would knock the mast off and stuff like that. That
Get blacklisted. And if you don't have a records license, that's your livelihood. You're done. You know?
That is cock blocking.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you do that, we're at 41 minutes. We did the show, man.
We want to talk about where we're going next.
Nope. You know why? Because we're going to be
surprise.
there the next time, and we're going to go and talk about that next time.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because we're going to be there and doing it. But what we should talk about once again is we're at Key West Smugglers. How are you? Thank you very much. United States Post Office showing up, doing their job. Great. Key West Smuggler Company, Bourbon Whiskey. I'm here with Jim Martin. It's at 627 Eaton Street in Key West, 2 blocks up from Tuval. When you're down here, this is a place to stop by and do some tasting. You can try the great bourbon whiskey, something to bring back to your family that actually you could be able to keep.
And follow us on
You could
Facebook.
you could bring crabs back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you could bring crabs back.
You can bring crabs back, and in many different ways.
Not the good crabs.
You can bring stone crabs. You can bring.
What is not a big crab?
It's almost
or lobster, spiny lobster, or pant crabs.
or the kind of crabs that pubic lice. Pubic lice. So you get that anywhere in any tourist destination because we're in the tropics, so they abound. I'd like to thank Jim Martin and Will. He's an exuberant employee once you meet him and stuff like that. He's really bought into this stuff. Look at him selling this stuff.
And also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at
Yes.
Key West Smuggler.
Yes.
And the website is keywestsmuggler.com.
And while we're here, I would like to thank the South Winds
Hotel, Dave over there.
Yep, Dave over there. We're going to...
The two Daves. There's the manager Dave, and then there's Diamond Dave.
Diamond Dave. Diamond Dave's going to meet us tonight.
Oh, good.
Diamond Dave's going to come over tonight and talk to us. Oh, is there a dog over there?
Cat calling.
What?
We got a cat calling in off the street.
There's a cat? Okay. Oh. That one of those Key West cats, right?
No. So straight bourbon is 2 years, and then we use the character process that ages it 4 more years.
Okay, so 6 years.
Yep.
Okay. So the straight bourbon maybe wants to take 2 years.
A lot of technicalities.
Yes, it's interesting. We're going to be back. We're going to do another show today, and we're going to do. I think we're going to be doing other shows down here on a regular basis. We're looking forward to do that.
We got a lot of places.
Yeah, we got a lot of places to go and visit. I'm going to be here with Jim Martin. I think he's going to make an excellent co-host down here. I just got to watch the amount of bourbon I drink here. Boy. That was no. I just put that
I thought you
down.
said we want to watch you
No.
drink bourbon down here.
No. I got to watch the amount of bourbon that I'm drinking down here while we're doing the
Watch the amount
podcast.
of bourbon
I'd like to thank everyone for listening.
Watch the amount of bourbon.
Remember, yeah, come down. No, it's not the hangover. It's got to do another show. I got to do another show, so I don't want to be all sloppy when I do it.
Keys Bartender.
Yes. So, and thank you. I hope you guys have a great time down here. Where are you heading to after this? So you're staying down in town?
Here until Monday.
You heading to Duval Street?
Yeah, we're going to be at Irish Kevin's tonight. Irish Kevin's tonight. Yeah, come in. Yeah. Irish Kevin's.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Have you been to the Key West Butterfly Conservatory? There are coupons over there. See where it says Key West Butterfly? It's $2 off. It's one of the coolest things on the island.
Yep. There's a lot of things to do at sunset. You go to Mallory Square.
Sunset celebration.
Some good time.
You see it right there halfway down on the
Got a
far
lot
left.
of shows going on.
Yes, and each one of those is a coupon, so how many people are going
Yeah.
$2 off on each one?
Yep. Got the hog's breath. Got everything there. Well, once again, I'd like to thank you, Jim Martin. We're going to be doing another show here. This is Jim the Keys Bartender, signing off. Take care.